Hello and welcome to Same Here,
Me Too. This is our podcast,
where we open up the conversation about life and share our experiences. The raw, the real.
Don't forget the embarrassing.
Of course, and all the juicy tidbits of our lives.
Telling our stories, what we've learnt as young women in our 20s. Nothing is off limits, giving you true life unfiltered.
The podcast that makes you realise you're not alone. Hello and welcome back to Same Here.
Me Too.
I'm your host Naomi.
And I'm your other host Cora.
What is up?
Hello everybody and welcome back to our channel if you're watching on YouTube, and welcome to listening if you're listening on any other platforms.
Indeed. Welcome. Sorry, I just had a freak out because where we see our laptop recording, it stopped for a moment. I'm like, oh goodness, has it stopped already? We're only like 30 seconds into the episode. We're fine. Everything is
just
fine.
Spent the last 10 minutes trying to get the pop filter to stay up.
Yep, it was not having a bar of it.
No, it wasn't.
So
at all.
Yes. Anyway,
we're back. So let's just jump straight in, Naomi.
Let's do weekly check-in.
Yeah. How has your week been?
It's been good. It's been productive. Work's been great. Work's been, when you just have it's like nothing major happens. It's just a good time. That's Cora drinking her water with her metal reusable straw. And yesterday, so on Wednesday, my boyfriend asked me to basically keep the weekend free. And I was like, okay, fine. So he wanted to do something from Friday to Sunday. That didn't work because it was apparently late notice. I have no idea what it was. But he's like, don't worry, I have a backup plan. And so he had this whole surprise day made up for me yesterday on Saturday. And I had no idea what it was. And so we went out for breakfast and we came home. Then we went out and he's like, okay, so we've got to be there at 1:15. And I'm like, okay. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, so how far is this place? Because I was like, okay, what sort of activity are we going to be doing?
Yeah.
I said, what should I wear? Sam's like, oh, what you're wearing is fine. I'm like, okay, well that doesn't help me.
So this doesn't help us.
Yeah. And then I thought, okay, well, are we going indoor skydiving? No, that's further away than 5 minutes. Are we going jet skiing? Maybe we're going jet skiing down by the water off the thing. No, that doesn't really make sense either because I'm definitely not dressed for jet skiing. And maybe we're going rock climbing. All of these things I was coming up with. And then we got in the car because Sam got a message. He's like, oh, they're ready for us now. And I'm like, no idea what we're doing. Mm-hmm. We get in the car and we start driving and we get 2 minutes down the road and I go and I just have this massive smile on my face. I'm like, I think I know where we're going. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to be disappointed if it's not, because I'm sure whatever you've got planned is so exciting. Right. But if we're doing what I think we're doing, then I'm so excited. And we ended up going to City Cave.
Is that what you were thinking it would be?
It is. And we went for a float and a couple's float. And oh my gosh, it was it was so good. We just zenned for an hour. And if you've done a float before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This was the first time I've ever done one. I've wanted to do one so bad. And if you haven't done one, go and do it because it's not like anything you would experience. You're just so zen. And yes, both Sam and I came out of it afterwards and we were both like, oh yeah. We're just so chill and relaxed. We both want to go back and do another one. And I know Cora wants to do one and Nikki, our friend, wants to do one. And it's just the best. So that was my surprise. And it was the best thing ever. It was so good.
So annoying. Happiness couples.
Ew.
Lovely. Ew. No, I'm happy. That is a really sweet thing of him to do.
Yeah. He did well. And then we went to the Austrian cafe for lunch, dinner. It turned into...
Linner.
Yeah, it was Linner.
A bit of Linner.
Because, and then we came home and watched Scandal, and it was great.
Ooh,
scandalous. Hey. But that was my week. How was your week?
My week was pretty good, actually. The week with work was kind of boring because work. However... we did go and see, which I didn't mention.
Oh my gosh, I didn't mention.
Exactly. How dare you?
How did I not mention that?
We went words. We went to go and see Come From Away, which I have wanted to see since it got to Broadway, which is about 2 years ago, I think it was.
It's been that long.
It's been that long in the Broadway. It was
No,
forever.
Yeah.
Yes, in Broadway, then it goes to West End, and then eventually it will tour the rest of the world. But basically, it's won I think it won 5 Tony Awards. It won 3 Olivier Awards.
Amazing.
It's an incredible musical. It's a new musical, and it's basically based on the happening around 9/11, but it's based on, there were about 38 planes that obviously when America closed their airspace, there was all these planes in the sky that were flying to America, and they're like, well, what do we do? So they all had to emergency land, and a lot of them emergency land in Newfoundland, which is just off the coast of Canada, and it's this tiny little place,
On the edge of the world.
edge of the world, where 38 planes landed, that it made the population of this little island double in size. And it's the story of that basically, and how, the folk deal with that. But the way it's performed,
Oh my gosh,
is incredible. It's more comical than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But it still pays really good homage to 9/11, and it's done in a very tasteful way, especially the bits that are quite gritty and could trigger a lot of people. They've done it so well, and it's only a 12-man cast with a band. It's just so simplistic,
it's so good,
but so powerful.
Yeah.
So if you are living in Brisbane, it's on at QPAC. Go and see it. So worth it. But if you live in if you live in London or you live in New York, when the theatres open back up again, go and see it. It's so worth it.
Basically, regardless of where you live, if you can go and see it, go and see it. It's very good. Oh, Cora was bawling her eyes out.
I went from laughing hysterically to the point where my ribs hurt, to crying, to getting chills. Every emotion you could possibly have, I was having. It was just that good.
Yeah, and I had goosebumps pretty much from the moment the music started. The music is so powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. We both want to go see it again.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And we are going to go see it again.
But yes, that was good. So that's kind of what happened this week for me.
And we got to go to the theatre again after so long.
It felt so good to get back into the theatre. We're both the theatre people. And, it's been, for me, it's been since I left the UK.
I'd say it's probably been a good 18 months to 2 years for me.
Yeah, same with me. And so it's so good to get back in there. And it's just one of those things where you can go and you just know you're going to always have a good night.
Yeah.
Whether the play or whatever you're going to go see is good or bad, you're going out with people, you get dressed up, you go for a drink, you just can have that bit of fun vibe to it. So yes, that was really good. So that's kind of what one of the biggest highlights of my week was.
Definitely. I agree.
Which was really good. I was very happy with that. And then yesterday, Friday night, my girls from work, we went up to the roof, because obviously I have a now lovely roof area in my new place. We went up there and had drinks and just had a really cool chill.
Nice.
Went for a late night swim, because that's what
Why
I do.
not?
Why not? Yes, it's been a really chill week actually, which has been so lovely. However, it's not going to last away for long, because I've got a lot coming up at work and I'm going to die. So I'm enjoying this tranquility of peaceful
serenity,
because as of Monday, it will not be like that anymore. It will be hell. It will be hell.
Yay!
And I think I've got to be very careful and take care of myself. And I'm very bad when things get busy, especially at work. And because I'm somebody who puts 120% into everything I do, so I'll throw myself into work. And I've got to be very, very careful that I don't overload myself and overload my body, and just take care of it. Because I think sometimes when you do kind of throw yourself into it, you forget to be human. And
your body is a temple.
Yeah.
But you forget that.
But also you've got to look after it, which kind of throws us into this week's episode.
Indeed.
Which kind of came out, I don't know how it came about. We were talking about, I think it was when you were overloaded crazy and you weren't eating or sleeping or doing anything normal.
I just wasn't being a normal human being.
You were just not looking after yourself. And I was like, girl, you've got to look after yourself. And I think I was like, do you look after your car? And you're like, well, of course I do. I'm like, well, your car's your body. And you're like, what? And I was like, and as we discussed it, which is what this episode is going to be about, is that your body is your car. Your car is your body, which...
Your body is like your car.
Yeah. Which sounds weird.
Indeed.
It does sound bizarre.
But bear with us.
But we're with us. There is
method to our madness.
There's method to the madness. And you'll see a lot of... So we started discussing it. There's a lot of similarities, more than we realised. So what kind of we mean by that is... When you have a car, you get the oil checked. You take it in for a service. Get the oil checked. Get the... What?
I'm sorry. I'm laughing.
Because I don't do that?
Yeah.
Which is why I'm struggling. You get the oil checked. You get the...
So for those of you who look after your car like normal people should, you check your oil regularly. You put fuel in, which Cora does do to our car. You maintain it. You take it for regular services, which Cora doesn't do.
I just got the car.
I'm totally teasing. No, she does do services because that's the only way she knows if the car is okay. Mm-hmm. You check the tire pressure. So you're always making sure, you take it for a wash. You put it through the car wash. You might wash it yourself, but you're making sure that you're maintaining it. You're looking after it, and so that it runs and you can keep your car for as long as you possibly can. Now, your body is very much the same. It needs tender love and care. You need to fuel it. You need to maintain it. And you basically need to love on it consistently to make sure that it's running to the best of its abilities. Now, with that, we were talking about the engine of the car. And so we're like, okay, well, obviously, the engine of your car needs to be looked after. You need to put oil in it. You need to make sure it's running correctly.
Coolant.
You'd make sure, coolant. All of that stuff goes in there. You make sure it's running nice and smooth. Otherwise, it makes awful sounds and it blows up. And basically, your brain is the engine of your body. So what we're going to talk about today is how do we run our body like a car, like a well-functioning Granturismo Maserati. Cora's like, I've got no idea what that is.
I do. I know my car is next to my father.
Nice.
But anyway, but no, yes, we are. So Naomi, what is the one thing you think is most needed for a car and your body to run at optimum levels?
Consistent maintenance.
Yes, but what does that mean?
You mean like what are the actual steps to that?
Yes, there we go.
Okay. So basically what I think in terms of looking after your body, you've got your typical, you need to make sure you're eating well. You need to make sure you're hydrated. Hydration is key. Like drink your water. You need to make sure that you are moving your body, that you're exercising, that you're doing stuff to make yourself feel good. Now, what I find is that oftentimes, because life is so busy, and especially this world that we live in is so busy and everyone's on the move and on the run, like a lot of people, yes, we go to the gym or we do that and we maintain our body to a certain degree. But we might have aches and pains that we have all the time. You know, if you sit at a desk for long periods of time, you might have pain in your back, you might have pain in your neck, you might have pains in your wrist or your fingers. I know I do, so... But you kind of start to live with those pains and you're like, oh, it's just normal. What I think and what I believe is that our bodies are designed to feel amazing. And so for me, which goes beautifully with the float that I did yesterday, I want to make sure that my body is functioning at the highest level possible, feeling as amazing as it possibly can, so that I can perform in my life to the best of my ability. So that's kind of like, it's such a big question. What do you do to maintain that?
Yeah, I think it's also one of those things where when you see people, I know I'm somebody who is notoriously bad for looking at other people who seem to always have energy, being able to go to the gym, getting up early. I'm like, God, I wish I could do that. Like, why? How can you do it? Like, I don't understand. And when I talk to these people and go, why are you always got so much energy? Why are you always running around? Like, why are you not always feeling tired and sluggish and just ugh? And they're like, I don't do anything. And they're like, oh, I just, eat right. I look after my, I, go to sleep early. And they do the things that are almost common sense, like drink water, eat healthy, go to sleep. And I'm like, oh, it sounds so easy. And for most people it is. But also I'm somebody, as we've noticed with my car, is I'll wait till something breaks and then I'll fix it. And I think a lot of people
do that.
A lot of people are saying they'll wait till something breaks and they'll go, okay, now I'll fix it. Well, actually, we shouldn't be. We should be monitoring our car, like I said, maintaining it regularly. Make sure the tires are pumped up. Make sure, shut up. Make sure there's oil, there's water. Make sure it's regularly cleaned. Give it a nice wash. and the car won't, the chances of it's actually breaking is slim to none.
Yeah.
Whereas if you don't look after it, the chances of it breaking are higher, and your body's the same. If you don't look after it and only wait till something is broken or aching or you're tired or you need to fix it because you don't feel well, you're never going to ever be having a car that's always running smoothly. You're going to have a car that's like juddery, same as your body. It's always going to be juddery because you're not constantly giving it that maintenance. And
I think that's a very interesting point, because the saying goes, you know, humans, and the way our psychology is that we are far more likely to run away from something than we are to run towards something.
Yeah.
And so if we're in pain, we want to fix that pain. If we're not in pain, we'll settle. Yeah. If it's just like a little niggle, you're like, oh, it'll be fine. But when it gets to a point where you can no longer stand properly, or you can no longer sit comfortably, or you are in agony, that's when you go to the doctor. That's when you go to the chiropractor. That's when you go and find a solution. And most of the time, especially with allied health professionals, you'll go and see them, to a chiro, a physio, a massage therapist, and they'll usually say, okay, well, let's do all these exercises. I remember I've had massage therapists say to me, if you did these exercises regularly, you wouldn't be having this issue. And you're going,
oh, it's that simple. Oh, right.
Right. And that's really where it comes into maintenance. That's where if we set ourselves up in a way that, as you so beautifully put it, our engine is running smoothly, our car is running smoothly, we're going to make sure that those problems aren't occurring as frequently, if not ever, you know, hopefully, in that way. So, yeah, I think it's a really good point.
And on that, also, another kind of analogy that I was thinking about as well is if you look after your car and it's maintenance well and it's been serviced, you know, you could go on a long haul trip. You can get on the road and you could go like a nice road trip. You could drive down to Melbourne or drive down to Sydney from like Brisbane, which is like a 25-hour drive. You know that car's going to get you from A to B, no problem, because you know you've looked after it. Your body's the same. If you want to do more things with your life, so if you want to be more active with your life, if you want to learn something, if you want to grow your skills and your knowledge in life, and also prepare your body and make your body be able to last longer and do more things with it, then you need to give it that maintenance and that fuel. Now, the fuel may be simple as food, water and stuff, but it also could be knowledge.
Yes.
So if you want to fuel your brain and get further in your career and your work, or if you want to get further in your just anything. So if you like, I want to learn another language, or I want to do something in terms of intellectually, you need to train the brain and you need to fuel it with the right fuel as well. And I think also people can be like, sometimes fill your body with the wrong things.
Yes.
And I think things like negativity, social media can be very bad for that. Feeling negativity, looking for gratitude in the places you shouldn't be looking for it. And yes, you are getting like moments of like, hey, this feels good. But it's like if you put the wrong petrol in your car, it might go like chugga chugga for like 5 seconds, but it's going to break.
Oh, yeah.
And the same goes for your body. If you're putting it in, you're giving it the wrong fuel, your body's going to go chugga chugga and then break down. So whether that's you're filling it with unhealthy food, or you're drinking loads of alcohol, or you're eating a lot of sugar, or you're giving it like negativity in your brain a lot of the time, or you're anything like that, it's not gonna go, and you're gonna get from your bed to your stairs. You're gonna hit a wall. You're gonna get from your bed to your stairs, and you're not gonna be able to go any longer. And I think that is sometimes where people can fall down very easily.
I agree.
And sometimes it's hard to get back up, because if a car is so broken, you almost go, okay, it's a write-off.
I'll just get a new one.
I'll get a new one.
You can't do that with your body.
You can't do that with your body.
You've only got one. You've only got one.
You've only got one body.
Yeah.
So you, unlike a car where you can, if you have an accident, if something happens, you can get rid of it. You really can't do that with a body. I mean, yes, there's medical mysteries. Western medicine is incredible, and there is loads of things we can do with the body if the body breaks.
Yes, of course.
But if you are well maintaining your body, you have a vintage car that lasts for like 100 years.
Which is what you want.
Which is what you want.
What you want.
What you want. So so I would say my biggest tips to keeping your body well maintained is one, very obviously, a regular
Number one is learning how to speak clearly without letting the words fall out of your mouth. I was actually really much harder than I thought it was going to be. I was trying to be a smart ass.
You're really smart. This is what happens when you're only smart ass.
Instant karma.
Just instant karma there. Sorry. I actually am tongue tied, so I do get lost around my words.
And I love her dearly, and she knows that I love her. So it's
absolutely.
okay if I tease her.
But it's really hard because I'm tongue tied and dyslexic, and I talk and I have rapid speech. So how I can get words out is beyond me. But anyway, so
This is her speaking slowly.
This is me speaking slowly, yeah. So like I said,
Right. So basically, our top tips, clearly our brains have not been fueled today. No. So in terms of our tips of what we would recommend in how to maintain the body is...
My brain's just
Her brain is gone. Okay, so things like, as Cora has said, eating the right foods, drinking water, they're your basics. You know, that's your bare minimum every single day. Now, when we say eat healthy, everybody says eat healthy. Everybody's always eating. Oh, it is eating. Everyone's always eating.
I just added, everyone's healthy is different.
Yes, thank you. I was getting to that.
Sorry.
So no, I like it. We're on the same wavelength. It's very much finding what works for you. Now, if you have a subpar diet, which is okay, we've all been there and we all go through phases. Number one is to pick something to change. Remember a few weeks ago, we did this episode about self-discipline, and we spoke about how doing everything at once makes you implode because your brain gets too uncomfortable, and when our bodies and our brains go into the uncomfortable, we shut down because we go, no, this is new, this is unknown, I don't want to do this, and we step back. So when you're looking at changing your diet, for example, and making it a bit more healthy, start with one thing. It could be cutting out sugar. It could be, I'm going to have a salad for lunch every day this week. You know, start with smaller steps rather than going, I am going to meal prep for the week and I'm going to do breakfast, lunch and dinner and I'm going to count my calories and I'm going to do all of this. If you've never done that before in your life,
you're going to struggle.
You're going to struggle. I know because I've done it, and I think I last about 3 days and I'm like, well, this sucks because I feel really restricted. Whereas if you change one thing, you're like, oh, I can do that. That becomes a habit, and then you move on to the next thing. And see how this episode kind of links back to our self-discipline episode. So that's your first thing. Find your foundation, create your foundation where you've got you're drinking water, you're nourishing your body, you're nurturing your body, and then you can start to explore things like doing regular massages, for example, or regular floats, or regular infrared saunas, which I'm trying that tonight, which I'm very excited about. But start with your foundation. Make sure you're moving your body. It could be going for a walk for 20 minutes a day. It could be 10 minutes a day. It could be 10 minutes 3 times a week. It could be going outside for a walk for 10 minutes once a week if you're not exercising at all. You know, so find something that works for you. Start slow. You know, you don't have to go a million miles an hour. You're not competing with anyone else. You're not doing this for anyone else. You're doing this for you. Remember, this is about you. This is about your body. This is about maintaining your car.
Yeah, your car, think of it more as you're on a road trip with your car by yourself. No one's with you. There's no time to get to A to B. You're on this long road trip and you're trying to basically help your car get to the end of it. So you need to look after that way.
Yeah.
Also on that as well, make sure the biggest thing I think for me, and I'm notoriously bad for it, I'm trying my hardest to get better at it. But when it comes to eating, also eat regularly. You know, studies have shown that if you don't eat regularly and your blood sugar is low, it weakens your resolve. It weakens your ability to your brain literally to function, which means you're not going to get any really thing done. You're going to give it half its job. It's like, you know, it's like trying to drive a car, you know, when you're stuck in second gear, but you need to get to fourth gear.
Yeah.
And it's stuck in second gear. It's literally like that. Your car won't go any further beyond second gear because you haven't given it the ability to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Just make sure like eat regularly, like healthy snacks, like an apple here and there. Little things like that will really help.
It's very much all of these things you will have heard.
Yeah.
All of these things
They're
you will
not
have
new.
read. It's not new information that we're sharing with you. It's not groundbreaking information we're sharing with you in today's episode. It's more a reminder, because these reminders that we give you guys and this advice and these tips that we give them to ourselves all the time.
Daily.
So when we do these episodes, usually it's because we've had a conversation. We're like, oh my gosh, I haven't been maintaining my body. Like, I haven't been exercising as much as I used to. And I'm feeling it in my body. I'm struggling to walk up 2 flights of stairs in my apartment building. I'm like, okay, Naomi, you're 27 years old. We need to sort that out. You know, I can get through a 45-minute cycle class, but I can't walk up 2 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an issue. So it's finding what works for you. It's making sure that you're on a path to make yourself feel great. Because if you're feeling great, you're going to enjoy life more. And if you're enjoying life more, you will be happier. And if you're happier, just have a better life. You know, that's simple. It's really that simple.
Yeah, and I think also that, like you said, this isn't groundbreaking. I think for this, it's us giving it a new perspective, because when we said, oh, your car's, you know, your body's like a car, I was like, oh my God, it is. And I just keep finding little connections with the two. And I guess it's making you see your body in a different way, because I think most people have cars, like, and if you like, not everybody does, but most people have a car and they know how to run a car. You know, you've got to pay rego on it, you know, you've got to do all these things with your car to make sure that it can be on the road and can get you from A to B. Well, your body's the same. So I think it's us reminding ourselves that, seeing it from a different perspective. And you know, like I said, filling your car with the right things. Don't give it negativity, give it positivity. You know, look up. We're just showing it in a different light, giving you a different way to approach it. Because if you're somebody who, I mean, I am notoriously bad for not keeping them well. I'm like, I'm going to lose this much weight and I'm going to put myself on a diet. I'm going to do this and this and this. And then 2 days later, I'm off the wagon. But I'm back to my old habits and back to my old ways. And so I've got to sometimes remind myself, but it gets boring. And it gets frustrating.
Of course it does.
Especially when you don't see the results. So if I go, okay, my car's my body now. What do I have to do to look after my car? Well, I've got to get the wheels pumped. Means I need to go get my body pumped, which means I need to go get energy, which means I need to do exercise.
Yeah.
Okay, my body needs to get from A to B, which means it needs its fuel. Okay, well, I need to get fuel. I need to give it regular fuel. Otherwise, my tank gonna go on empty and I'm not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, oh. You know, and it's the same with you. It's the same. So for me, it's actually thinking my body is my car has actually made me slightly change the way I am to my body.
To your body, yeah.
Not this whole my body's a temple and I look into it. Is that cars are the same. Like if you put the wrong thing in your car,
it doesn't go anywhere.
Gonna go like it's not gonna go anywhere.
The sound effect.
But it is like, and I know it because my dad we have a diesel car and he put petrol in the diesel car. He didn't realize until he turned the car on and tried to drive it away. And the car didn't go very far. And he was like, and but he's had that car for years. It's been maintained. He's looked after it. It's like at spick and span condition. I mean, he's a bit obsessive over it, but that's not the point entirely. But if you're somebody who's obsessed with your car, you should be the same with your body.
I was about to say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
If you are, so actually pretty much anyone who owns a car, we get very precious about our cars.
Yeah.
You know,
because they're expensive.
They're expensive. We don't want to ding them. We don't want to, you know, make sure they're running on empty. Like, we make sure our car is working. It maybe not as much as if you're like obsessed with cars, you're going to be looking after your car a lot better than you are if you're sort of just everyday person like Cora who just drives a car. But you still, regardless of how much you love your car, you still look after it.
Yeah.
And so
you're still cautious with it.
Exactly. So if we can take that attitude and put that onto our body in the way that you've said, you know, so beautifully, it shifts the perspective. Yeah. It shifts the way that you're going to treat yourself. And it might help you in a way that's, rather than going, oh, I need to do all of these things because, you know, all these fitness trainers and influencers on Instagram are doing all of this and I need to do that. It's like, no, just what do I need to run at optimum speed? Yeah. At optimum levels. What do I need to do? And then just take it from there. Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, this kind of like wrapping up to the end of the episode, which I hope you've all found it really kind of, it's like I said, informative, but also looking at a different perspective of your body and seeing, go, oh, okay. And if you are somebody who struggles, maybe seeing if that is a way to help you and your body, because like I said, cars are expensive, cars are dangerous. You know, if you don't look after them, things can go really wrong very quickly, and your body is exactly the same. You don't look after it, a lot of things can go wrong with it extremely quickly before you've even realized it. Exactly. So don't wait till it breaks to fix it.
No. Start
maintaining it now. But yeah, everyone, that's everything from us. I hope you have a lovely week. If you are listening to this on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, please give it a subscribe, give it a review, and share it to anybody who think will be enjoying it or be beneficial from it, because we want to get this out here to more people, grow our family, grow our community. And if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like it, subscribe it, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any episodes either.
Absolutely. And of course, make sure you're following us on all of our social medias, our TikTok, our Instagram, and our Facebook page, all at Same Here Me Too, so that you see our regular updates.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Talk soon. Bye.